What is going on, everybody, and welcome yourselves back to another video. Today I decided to put all of my serial killer tier lists into one big compilation for your convenience, so you can watch them all in one place or even relax and fall asleep to them. So without further ado, hopefully you guys enjoy and peace out. What would happen when Roman Bridger, the smartest Ghostface of them all, goes up against some of the deadliest killers in fiction? Unlike the other masked murderers, Roman isn't just a slasher. He's a director and a master of planning. But when the curtain rises on a battle between him and twisted minds like Dexter Morgan, Anton Chigurh, or John Kramer, the script doesn't always go his way. So in this video, we'll break down how Roman stacks up against killers who don't play by horror movie rules. Would he outsmart them, or does his final act end in blood? Let's find out. Now, first off, let's start with Norman Bates. Now, Norman Bates might seem harmless at first glance. He's quiet and keeps to himself until his mother personality takes over. But Roman Bridger isn't fooled by soft voices or creepy old houses, or even a guy with dual personalities. He's dealt with people wearing masks, both literally and emotionally, so right off the bat, Roman would recognize Norman's split personality and use that against him. Now, Norman is also very mentally ill, and against someone like Roman Bridger, who has a head on his shoulders when it comes to killing people, is another huge advantage that he has over him. And also in hand-to-hand combat, I'd say that it's very obvious that Roman comes out victorious. And at the end of the day, Norman is just some tall, lanky, unorthodox killer with no real planning behind the lives that he takes. And in this scenario, Norman Bates does not survive whatsoever. And next we have the man, the myth, the legend himself, Patrick Bateman. Now, Patrick Bateman has the money, the charm, and a taste for murder, but deep down, he's obsessed with control and his appearances. Now, Roman wouldn't care about Bateman's suits or his business cards. He'd see him for what he truly is, a spoiled narcissist with a short fuse. Now, Patrick might try to intimidate Roman or even show off his brutality, but Roman plays the long game. That's what he's good at. And honestly, this may be an unpopular opinion, but I think that Patrick Bateman would absolutely truck Roman Bridger in hand-to-hand combat with no knives or anything, like no weapons whatsoever. But with weapons, I do think Roman beats him. But then again, if Patrick Bateman pulls out his good old reliable chainsaw from out of his closet, a little knife that Ghostface wields isn't really going to do anything against a bloodlusted Patrick Bateman. I mean, I'm sure that we all saw the scene where Patrick Bateman chased down that woman in the apartment complex. Yeah, he's no joke when he's cracked up on a thirst for blood. But inevitably, in the long game, Patrick's ego would get in the way. And before he even realizes he's being hunted, Roman would be already filming the final scene on Patrick Bateman's life. So, does Patrick Bateman survive Roman Bridger? Honestly, no, but it could be somewhat close in a hand-to-hand fight, but other than that, he totally gets dismembered. Now we have Dexter Morgan. Now, I mean, as we all know, Dexter isn't just your regular serial killer. He's a predator who hunts other predators. He's very precise and he's very careful. Now, Roman from the start would think that he's in control, but Dexter operates on another level. And honestly, Roman probably would never even see Dexter coming in the first place. That's kind of how he gets all his victims. But let's just give it to him. Let's say he does. So Dexter would track him, learn his routine, and strike when Roman feels most powerful. Now, this wouldn't be a fight. This would be a total execution. Even if it came to hand-to-hand combat, Dexter would completely obliterate Roman Bridger 110%. Like, Roman just has no real wiggle room to get away from Dexter. Like, yeah, sure, he's more skilled than the other Ghostfaces and maybe would last longer than the other Ghostfaces. Well, he wouldn't. Maybe he would last longer than the other Ghostfaces. But Roman literally is just like another episode kill, or even, a couple episode kill for Dexter. I mean, yeah, he's a popular guy and he has status, but Dexter has taken down people with status before. And Roman would not be an exception whatsoever. He is 100% a Dexter victim. And in the end, Dexter would 100% survive Roman Bridger, and on top of that, he would even kill Roman Bridger. And next we have Jack from The House That Jack Built. Now, Jack sees every murder as a work of art. Now, Roman might feel like he's the director of his own horror movie, but Jack doesn't care about the spotlight. Roman would want attention, and Jack would want perfection. So if Roman ever ever tried to one-up Jack, he'd lose control, and Jack would take that moment to strike. In a battle of egos, because both of them do have egos, Jack's quiet obsession with meaning would overpower Roman's hunger for fame. Now, Roman might plan a scene, but Jack would turn it into a masterpiece, with Roman as the final piece. And honestly, for this one, there's not too much to be said. I do have Jack surviving Roman Bridger. Now we have John Kramer. Now, going up against someone like John Kramer is like walking into a test that you just didn't study for. So Jigsaw is a mastermind who turns people's weaknesses into death traps. Now, Roman would never expect someone to be 10 steps ahead, and if he found himself caught in one of Jigsaw's games, all his clever tricks and Ghostface acts wouldn't save him whatsoever. Like, he would be completely cooked 110%. He wouldn't be able to charm or intimidate his way out. John wouldn't just punish Roman, he'd completely break him psychologically and physically. But for this sake, let's just say John doesn't have him in his trap already, because that wouldn't really make any sense in a 1v1 scenario. And also, John can't use his disciples to do the deed for him as well. And honestly, I think Roman would actually come out on top, and that might be an unpopular opinion. And yes, John is way smarter than Roman, no doubt, but like, if it ever came down to it, if it had to come to a physical altercation and maybe a cat and mouse game, I think Roman is beating John Kramer. Now, honestly, this one is a 50-50 in my opinion, so we'll just leave it at that. And now we have Gus Fring. Now, Gus Fring is a professional and a deadly one when he needs to be. Now, Roman thrives on drama and chaos, but Gus lives in structure and silence. So if Roman ever tried to pull one of his horror movie stunts on Gus, it wouldn't end well whatsoever. As we all know, Gus doesn't play any games, and if you watch Breaking Bad at all, this man doesn't even play in general. And if you mess with him, you'll more than likely die. Now, Roman might try to stalk him, leave messages, or try to get in his head, but as we all know, Gus doesn't react emotionally whatsoever. I mean, have you seen this guy's death stare? Like, come on. And if anything, it would probably even hurt him more in the long run if he tried to toy with Gus. And if Gus ever finds Roman, he'd be dead before Roman could even know it. So yes, Gus Fring survives Roman Bridger 100%. And next we have Anton Chigurh. Now, Anton Chigurh is literally fate in human form. He doesn't get angry, he doesn't panic, he just moves forward, killing literally everything in his path. And I mean literally everything. And in this situation, Roman would not have control whatsoever. He wouldn't fall for the Ghostface act or get drawn into Roman's games. He'd simply flip a coin, track Roman down, and kill him without hesitation whatsoever. And if anything, Anton probably would just find out what set Roman is shooting at that specific day, then walk in, shoot him while he's in the director's chair, and then walk out like nothing happened. So yeah, Anton Chigurh is surviving Roman Bridger. Now, second to last, we have our boy Louis Bloom. Now, you might be saying, Louis Bloom isn't a serial killer, but he is a killer indirectly. Kind of. Now, Louis Bloom is probably the closest thing Roman has to a rival. He's obsessed with media, fame, and getting the perfect shot. But Louis doesn't get his hands dirty. He lets others die while he captures it all on camera. And if these two ever crossed paths, it would become a battle of manipulation. Roman might try to intimidate Louis, but Louis would twist the narrative. And honestly, I don't even think Roman could intimidate Louis. This man didn't even break in an interrogation room anyways. So in a game of psychological warfare, honestly, I would have to give it to Louis, I'm not gonna lie. But honestly, he could expose Roman, film everything, and then sell it to the highest bidder, and then potentially ruin Roman's life. I feel like Louis could potentially survive if he uses that against Roman. But then again, if Roman just sees, wait, you're recording me, I'll just kill you, unless it's live, then he can't really do that. I'd give it to Louis. I would say he survives. And last but not least, we have William Afton. Now for this, I'm going to be doing the William Afton video game version. Now in the thumbnail, I know I have the movie version of William Afton, but I mean, let's just make it more brutal for him. Why not? Now, Afton doesn't really play by human rules anymore. He survived fires, experiments gone wrong, and even death itself, coming back again and again through whatever twisted means necessary. And honestly, what am I even saying? Springtrap is annihilating, and I mean annihilating, Roman Bridger. What is going on, everybody, and welcome back to another video. Now, I've been getting a lot of comments in my YouTube channel and in my Discord to do a Barry Berkman video. So today we're doing a Barry Berkman versus serial killer slash hitman video. Now, let's just stop yapping and just get right into the tier list. But like we do before every single video, let me explain the tiers for you guys so you guys understand what I'm ranking. Coming in at S tier is They'd Kill Barry, which is pretty self-explanatory. Honorable battle, which means it'll be kind of a 50-50. It'll basically be like Freddy versus Jason or Obi-Wan versus Anakin. It would be a very, very close fight. Somewhat hard, which means it would be somewhat hard for Barry to kill these people, but inevitably they would end up to die by Barry. And their fish food is, yeah, this is just GG, easy peasy. So coming in first, we have Ladybug from The Bullet Train. Now I know this movie is essentially a comedy, but Ladybug still is no joke whatsoever. Ladybug is actually an assassin himself, and he's a pretty darn good one too. But there's one problem with Ladybug, is that he doesn't really like killing, so he tries to go on small jobs. That's the whole entire reason why he went on the bullet train in the first place. But he's also pretty good at hand-to-hand combat as well, and he's also pretty smart, because in that one scene that he went up against the Hornet, she was, you know, an assassin as well. Like, she essentially poisoned him in the hand with a syringe, and he ripped the syringe out of his hand and then put it into her to bait her to take out the antidote, so then he could get the antidotes. So honestly, he's pretty smart, and he's also pretty skilled in hand-to-hand. And also, he has like really good luck, but then again, he doesn't really have that good luck as well, so it's kind of weird, to be honest. But I'm not gonna lie, Barry with a handgun just easily takes Ladybug out. Yes, in some situations he has a lot of good luck and he does tank bullets, but Barry's accuracy is just way too OP. I mean, Barry barely misses at all. So to be honest, Ladybug isn't fish food, because I mean, like, he has some feats, to be honest. Like, the character Ladybug isn't that bad if you truly look into the character, so I would say it's somewhat hard. Like, Barry could kill him easily, but it'll be just a little challenging for, you know, Barry because of the luck that, you know, Ladybug has. Next, we have Tony Montana from Scarface. Now, this is actually pretty interesting as well, because Tony can tank a lot of damage as well, and almost probably even more than Ladybug. And on top of that, because as we've seen at the end of Scarface, Tony basically is in like a 1v20. His entire mansion is surrounded by people that have AK-47s, and Tony even manages to take some out with him and tanks all of that damage before finally going out. But what Tony does have that's over Ladybug is that Tony is a mob boss. He has a lot of resources. But then again, Barry's a hitman. That's what he's designed to do. It wouldn't ever just be a 1v1, because Tony wouldn't go anywhere without his men or people around him, of course. So just for that, I think Tony Montana would have to be honorable battle, because of the fact that he just has so much resources and he has people working for him. But Barry is way more skilled in hand-to-hand. He's way more skilled in stealth and stalking, like literally everything. So actually, no, that's kind of hard. So honestly, actually, I'll put him in somewhat hard. Actually, I changed my mind. The only reason why I would say somewhat hard is because he would have to get around his henchmen. Next, we have Anton Chigurh from No Country for Old Men. Now, just right off the bat, I would have to put Anton in honorable battle, 110%. Anton is also a very skilled hitman and very accurate. He can also tank a lot of damage, like in the car crash that we've seen at the end for No Country for Old Men, and also the gunshots that he takes throughout the movie. But I put him over these two because he's just way more meticulous, he has better planning, and he's also a better shot. But in the end, to be honest, I do have Barry Berkman 110% killing Anton Chigurh. But I feel like it would be an honorable battle. I feel like Barry would get hit sometimes. I feel like it would be a very juicy battle. Like they did for Freddy versus Jason. It was like a slasher 1v1 movie. For Hitman 1v1 movies, they should throw in Anton versus Barry. I think that would be pretty lit. And I don't care if they have the retcon stuff, but just do it, okay, please. Next, we have Hannibal Lecter from Hannibal. Now, this is the TV show show Hannibal we're talking about. Now, right off the bat, I will say this. Barry is 110% murking Hannibal in, you know, a gun duel. 100%, I'll give him that. But Hannibal, in my opinion, beats him in everything else. Maybe not hand to hand. I would maybe have to give that to Barry, but still, his IQ, his planning, his stealth, just the entire 9 yards. Hannibal just has so much more feats, so much more skills than Barry. He's practically a superhuman character, I would say. Hannibal is just that OP. We've seen the minds that Hannibal can manipulate just through therapy alone. His manipulation tactics are insane. And the thing is, if it ever comes down to a gunfight, I feel like Hannibal would 100% be 2 steps ahead of Barry. So he would either take his bullets,
I took your bullets,
or just somehow be in the right place at the right time and kill him. And honestly, I feel like Hannibal Lecter would 110% kill Barry Berkman. Next, we have Agent 47 from Hitman. Now, yeah, okay, there's just really no debate in this whatsoever. Agent 47 is the prime example of a hitman. If you look up literally just hitman in Google, Agent 47 will come up. Like, let's just do this together. Hitman. Yup. Agent 47 pops up. This is no debate whatsoever. Agent 47 is the textbook definition of a hitman. So without a doubt, Agent 47 is slapping Barry Berkman. There is no diff whatsoever. Next, we have Isaac Sirko from Dexter. Now this one is also very interesting. Isaac Sirko is a very good shot, and we've seen him survive almost the impossible. That one scene where Dexter baits him into enemy territory, he's actually caught off guard in that scene, and he manages to emerge victorious. It's that one bar fight scene, if you know what I'm talking about, from Isaac Sirko. So yeah, Isaac Sirko is also very, very skilled in gunfights, and he can also tank a lot of damage. But to be honest, Barry Berkman, I feel like, would beat Isaac Sirko in a gun duel 110%. Barry just has that accuracy that is just very OP. Definitely not better than Agent 47. Barry also has very, very quick reaction speed, even more quick than that Isaac Sirko bar fight scene. Isaac Sirko would have to go in honorable battle. Next, we have John Wick from, you know, John Wick. Yeah, no, there's no debate about this as well, but the thing is, I'm putting John Wick in the second best tier in S tier, because Agent 47, he's killing John Wick, let's be honest, and he's killing Hannibal Lecter, let's be honest. Next, we have Dexter from Dexter. I've said this before, but I kind of think I'm going to backtrack on my statement. In a short, I said that I think that Barry would kill Dexter, but because now I look at it like this. If Barry knew that Dexter was onto him, he would 100% kill Dexter. I feel like that because Barry always got that thing on him. You know what I'm saying? And Barry would never let it go to hand. He would just pop Dexter right then and there. Like, it could never really get physical. The only time I see it getting physical is if Dexter sneaks up on him, which, I mean, yeah, he does that for literally every one of his victims, but there is some people that see him coming within his show. So, but I feel like in the long run, I do think Dexter will kill him just because of Dexter's stalking, his planning, and just knowing when to strike when the iron's hot. That's how he really has the advantage over all his victims. He just hides in the shadows like he's Batman and just waits for the perfect time to strike. So yeah, I do think that Dexter inevitably will kill Barry Berkman, but to be honest, I think it's very, very, very close, to be honest. Next, we have Arthur Morgan from Red Dead Redemption 2. He's an excellent marksman. As we all know, if you played the games, you know that he is one of the best. I think Arthur would be at the top of honorable battle. And honestly, I have the odds in Arthur's favor. And the thing is, I'm not 100% sure who wins, because then again, guys, people that are in the honorable battle really means that it could go both ways. It's essentially a 50-50. Like, they could kill Barry or they could not. And in my opinion, I kind of have Arthur leaning more towards killing Barry, but this one is pretty hard. I've been processing this for a couple minutes now, and I really can't come up with a solid argument. So yeah, let me know what you guys think about this matchup, Arthur Morgan versus Barry. I kind of have it more leaning into Arthur's favor, but I can't really say for sure that he would kill Barry, so I'll put him at the top of honorable battle. Now, I just realized that I didn't even use fish food at all, and really looking back at it, I can honestly say that Ladybug, compared to everybody on this list, is really fish food, to be honest. And you could also say Tony is fish food, but honestly, I feel like this kind of works, to be honest. Let me know what you guys think. What is going on, everybody, and welcome back to another video. Today we will be ranking killers, their chances of surviving Art the Clown. Also, I just made a Discord, so if you guys want to join and ask me questions, I'll be active in the Discord. Now, I have Art the Clown as my profile picture because I'm in love with the Terrifier series. Like, I'm not even gonna lie when I say this, I literally have a full entire Art the Clown cosplay costume, and I'll pop it up right on the screen for you guys. I've been a Terrifier fan since Terrifier 2, so I love this franchise, even though I don't even make that much videos on Art the Clown. So before I start every single tier list video, I like to break down the tiers for you guys so you guys know what I'm ranking. So coming in at the S tier, which is the best tier, is They'll Be Art's Butt, which means Art really stands no chance against these killers. Next, we have Respectable Battle. Kind of think of this as like an Obi-Wan versus Anakin on Mustafar, a beautiful duel, and really it's kind of hard to declare who would be the winner because they're just equally as strong. They'll make him work hard for it, which means Art the Clown will still kill them, but it'll be a little harder than just easy. Art the Clown eats them alive. This isn't really a challenge for him. This would kind of just be over in a quick day or something. Coming in at number 1 is Jack Sparrow from Pirates of the Caribbean. Now, I love Pirates of the Caribbean and I love Jack Sparrow. Now for this, I think easily he'll be Art's butt 110%. So we can go about this in 2 different ways because they have 2 different forms, and I'll explain that right now. What I mean by 2 different forms is that they're both immortal and they're both mortal, which means that in their movies they were once immortal then turned immortal. So we're going to be ranking this based off of their immortality, like when Jack Sparrow became immortal to kill Barbossa, and when Art the Clown became immortal at the end of Terrifier 1. Immortal versus immortal, and I would have to give this to Jack Sparrow 100%, as I already said, because he's the person who went toe-to-toe with Davy Jones. And also, may I just mention, Jack Sparrow is a literal pirate lord. So a pirate lord versus a demon, yeah, I would have to give it to the lord. And as we've seen throughout the whole entire Caribbean franchise, his clumsiness is also his insane strong suit because somehow in every single circumstance he finds the way to win the fight. Coming in next is Chucky. Now this is also very interesting too, and I'm going to put Chucky in Respectable Battle, but in this Respectable Battle, I think Art the Clown would come out on top, and the reason why is because yes, they are both immortal, so when they start beating each other up, I mean, yes, they'll feel something, but it won't really do anything to them. But there's just one thing that I think that will make Art the Clown have the advantage. As we all know, Art the Clown has a bag full of really anything, like a machete, knife, and a gun. A lot of slashers don't really use a gun, but Art the Clown, hey, sometimes he'll even bring out like a Tommy gun. And Chucky is known to die by guns. Yes, he inevitably does come back in the other movies, but for instance, in Child's Play 1988, where he was shot, you know, yes, he was completely already injured and decapitated, but a gun to the chest is what completely finished him off. And that's kind of what Chucky would look like after a fight with Art the Clown, because they're both immortal. And yes, Art the Clown would be very bloody too. He would probably lose like a limb or something. Like, he would look completely destroyed too. I'm not saying that Chucky wouldn't do a number on Art the Clown. He definitely would, because Art the Clown can feel pain like a human. So I think Chucky would almost damn near beat him, but then, as you know, Art the Clown will just pull up a gun from his bag and then just shoot him. So yeah, I would just have to give that to Art the Clown, but it would be a crazy cool battle. And I think these 2 characters should get a Freddy versus Jason type of movie. Tyler Durden from Fight Club. Now you guys are probably wondering, wait, Tyler Durden, first of all, he isn't real, and second of all, he isn't a killer in the movies. And yes, that is true, he isn't real because Tyler Durden is the narrator, or some people refer to him as Jack. Tyler Durden is a part of Jack, and he's his alter ego, so he kind of still is a real person in a sense. It's like a loophole. But yeah, this one, in my opinion, will be something that Art the Clown will have to work for. And granted, yes, Tyler Durden is an amazing fighter. He's very experienced. He has an entire cult that he fights with almost every single day. But the reason why I say it would be hard for Art the Clown is because Tyler Durden is in a cult that he's the leader of. So it'll be pretty hard to even get to him. And that, in my opinion, would be Art's biggest obstacle. But then again, Art's immortal. So it's not like just beating Art the Clown up will get him to stop. Yes, you can injure him. And yes, I feel like he could beat him in hand-to-hand combat. But at the end of the day, Art the Clown will just keep coming back. And maybe he'll even just shoot him with a Tommy gun. So yes, it would be a challenge for Art the Clown to get him. He wouldn't just be a regular victim. That's not what I'm trying to say. But it would be like an entire mission for Art the Clown to take down Tyler Durden. Now next we have Anton from No Country for Old Men. Anton is basically a spawn of Satan too. This guy is pure evil. He might as well just be a demon at this point. He is mortal, so that is something to also look at. So this one's interesting because I feel like Anton would definitely be Art's butt, easy peasy, even in a gunfight, because yes, Art the Clown uses guns, and yes, Anton uses guns, so 100% Anton's beating him in a gunfight. The thing is, Art is immortal, so it's not like Anton can survive bullets either, but Anton is more trained in combat, hand-to-hand, and in guns. He knows how to duck bullets, not really like duck bullets like the Matrix, but like he knows how to position himself in gunfights. So honestly, the thing is, I can't say he'll beat Art's butt because so I would say respectable battles, but he's over Chucky. Actually, I have to put him, because dude, he's just a man at the end of the day. He's very OP. He's a very OP man, unless he teams up with Sienna Shaw. You know what I'm saying? Unless he does that. But I don't think he's going to team up with Sienna Shaw. And I don't think Sienna Shaw would even want to team up with a mass murderer like Anton. So yeah, no, we're just going to keep him in respectable battles. Patrick Bateman from American Psycho. I mean, like, to be honest, Art eats them alive. I don't know why, but I feel like Patrick Bateman would just be scared of him. Like, I don't know why. I feel like he just would. Or I feel like he would just be disgusted in Art the Clown. He would be like, why is this human wearing a clown outfit? A fully grown man wearing a clown outfit. And he wouldn't even take Art the Clown serious. And then would just turn his back. And then Art the Clown would be like, what? What'd you say about me? And then just stab him to death. Leatherface. Honestly, I would have to give this a respectable battle, but I would put him over. Actually, no, I can't put Leatherface over Anton. Not at all. Why do I put him in respectable battle is because he does have brute strength, even though he is mortal. Because what? He's like, how tall is he? I don't know the exact height and weight for Leatherface. Actually, let me look that up. Leatherface is 6'4" in the Chainsaw Massacre in 1974. I don't know if that's accurate. He's 6'4", and I would have to guess he's around 200 plus pounds. So yeah, he has height and also has weight on Art the Clown, and he has a chainsaw. Like, he would pick up Art the Clown and just start chainsawing him. Leatherface isn't, well, I was about to say Leatherface isn't an idiot, but he literally is an idiot. I don't know how to word that. I would say he's not dumb in the sense of when it comes to barbaric fighting styles, if that makes any sense. I don't know. He's very unpredictable and strong at the same time, which is kind of a nasty combo when you're unpredictable and you're strong. But in the end, I would still have to give this win to Art the Clown. When I say Art the Clown is winning in these scenarios, it doesn't mean that, okay, the first encounter is going to be Art the Clown winning. No, I feel like it would take a lot of times for Art the Clown to kill Anton and Leatherface and Chucky. He would be resurrected a lot of times to kill these people. Michael Myers, 100%. He'll definitely beat Art's butt, because in my head, I don't think there's any way of Art the Clown even killing Michael Myers for Michael Myers to come back and then get revenge on him. I just feel like it would be a continuous cycle of Art trying to kill Michael, and to the point where he just eventually gives up. Ghostface. This one's kind of interesting because I would either put Ghostface and they'll make him work for it, because they always come back, right? There's always a sequel, you know what I'm saying? So it would be annoying for Art the Clown to have to kill numerous Ghostface again and again and again. So yeah, I would actually put him over Tyler Durden, to be honest, in my opinion. The Punisher. This is a TV show we're talking about, because bro, if this was the Punisher from comics, yeah, that would be GG, easy peasy. And yes, TV show Frank Castle is still very OP too, 100%. This is actually a tricky one, because obviously he's at the top, no doubt about it. Even though he is human, he's a human, but he's like basically immortal. Like, he's basically a superhuman. This character defies what a human could do, like what a man could do. They might as well just make him a superhuman. I don't even know why he's not, to be honest. Or maybe he is. I don't know the full lore, but like, I just watched the TV show. Yeah, no, he's crazy OP. But the thing is, do I put him over Michael Myers? If it was comic Punisher, I would put him over Michael Myers. But since it's TV show Frank Castle, I'm just gonna do this because he's supernatural. And you know what I'm saying? It makes sense. Dexter Morgan. Okay, yes, Dexter Morgan would easily get Art the Clown on his table 100%. So he instantly jumps to respectable battles. But the thing is, if we put Art the Clown in Miami, in Dexter's universe, I feel like he just kills Dexter one way or the other. Yes, Dexter would definitely have more wins in a sense, how many times he's actually beaten Art the Clown in a fight, because as I said, Art the Clown in these human versus scenarios, he would just keep coming back even though he still dies. If I put Art the Clown in Dexter's universe, I feel like Art the Clown just has a probability of killing him. He still has to work for the police, because one way or another he's eventually going to kill Dexter or ruin his life by exposing him as a killer, not as the Bay Harbor Butcher, but you know, a killer. I don't know, this is debatable. This is very debatable. So yeah, this is my tier list. What do you guys think? Let me know. And an honorable mention is Sam and Dean Winchester, because they fight monsters, demons, ghosts for a living. They would easily beat Art 110%. Art the Clown would just be another demon in another episode for Sam and Dean Winchester. What is going on, boys and girls, and welcome back to another video. Today we have a long-awaited Joe Goldberg video. So today I will be ranking these killers' chances of surviving Joe Goldberg. Also, I just want to say shout out to this person in my Discord, Jag, for really helping me better understand the character Joe Goldberg. And also, every single character that I rank on this tier list is concluded by me. Now, like we do in every single tier list video, let me explain the rankings for you guys so you understand what I'm ranking. Coming in at S tier is They'd Kill Joe Goldberg, which is pretty self-explanatory. Honorable battle, which means it'll be a pretty close fight, like a pretty even fight. So it's essentially like a 50-50. Either man can win if they're in this category. It'll take some time, which means the odds will totally be in Joe's favor, and eventually Joe will kill them. And fish food is kind of just like GG easy. So coming in first, we have Dexter Morgan from Dexter. Now, there's been an ongoing debate in my Discord server that Joe would beat Dexter and that Dexter would beat Joe. Now, I always thought that Joe would just be a complete one episode kill for Dexter and that's it, maybe two at best, but my mind has been recently changed, and honestly I believe that Joe Goldberg would honestly be a season-long antagonist, because if you really think about it, there's so many antagonists in Dexter that are far below Joe Goldberg. Like for instance, Miguel Prada, he was a season-long kill. But with that being said, I still think personally Dexter would emerge victorious in a game of cat and mouse, since Dexter outsmarts, like, we're talking about highly intelligent killers and highly intelligent law force members each season, by the way. For instance, FBI Special Agent Frank Lundy, who's cracked impossible cases like the Green River Killer, the DC Sniper. By the way, these were confirmed by James Dokes in Season 2, Episode 2, or even when Dexter outsmarted and fooled Arthur Mitchell, the Trinity Killer, who's been on the run for decades and never has been caught, until Dexter figured him out in just one season, while it's hiding in plain sight right in front of him. Although Joe has outsmarted Quinn's poison, which I'll give him that's pretty impressive, he could potentially maybe outsmart Dexter's M99, but then again, Joe literally lived with Love Quinn, so he got to kind of understand Love Quinn on a literal spiritual level. Joe also shows pretty exceptional hand-to-hand feats too as well, like the scenes I'll pop up right on the screen right now. But Joe's best cat and mouse game, in my opinion, is from himself. So in the 4th season of You, Joe convinces himself that Reese is a real person, manipulating him into basically committing murders. However, Joe does in fact realize later that Reese was never actually there, so I'll give him that. He was just a part of Joe's imagination. And Joe is so deep in his own delusion that he even tricked himself into believing someone else was responsible for his own crime. So in my opinion, this kind of proves that even though Joe is highly intelligent, maybe even more intelligent than Dexter, his biggest weakness is his own unstable mind, in my opinion. And keep in mind, this is the latest season that we've seen from Joe Goldberg, Season 4. Yes, there's Season 5 that's coming out, and Season 5 will probably end the debate once and for all, because now Joe is a billionaire, literally. But given off the information that we have right now, this is what I'm going to go with. And Dexter, on the other hand, is fully aware of his dark passenger, which would kind of be like Reese in a situation. And let me explain. While he sometimes imagines his father, just like Joe imagines Reese, he never really loses sight of reality like Joe did. Dexter knows that his urges and actions are literally his own doing. So this level of self-control, in my opinion, I feel like would just give Dexter a huge advantage over Joe. I truly do think that Dexter will end up killing Joe Goldberg. But here, let me say it one more time. I think this would be a season-long kill for Dexter, 100%. It could be an honorable battle, and it could be, at the top. But since this tier list is inevitably my opinion, based off of, facts that I've already presented, I just feel like, in my opinion, Dexter inevitably will win. Next, we have David McCall from Fear 1996. I actually made a video about this. If you guys want to check that video, check it out. It's on the screen right now. David McCall is basically Joe Goldberg's father. And not in the sense that David's better than him. Like, no. Joe Goldberg completely solos David, let's be real here. But in the sense that he's been killing in the name of love in the exact ways that Joe does. Essentially meaning that he did it first. Now, to be honest, this really isn't even a debate. In my humble opinion, Joe 100% takes the win in this. David McCall doesn't really have any crazy skills that outshine Joe's, although I'd have to give David some credit. He can kick some serious butt for his height and be able to manipulate situations at a pretty reasonable level, to be honest. But again, none of these compared to Joe's manipulation skills or even combat skills at all. So yeah, in my opinion, 100%, I think David McCall is fish food. I don't even think this would take time at all, to be honest. Next, we have Barry Berkman from none other than Barry. Now, for those who haven't watched Barry, Barry is a very skilled hitman with a military background. Just check out this scene for me real quick, okay? Yeah, I mean, it's just absolutely brutal. Joe would stand absolutely no chance against Barry if Barry is armed. Close range, although it might be a different scenario though, as we've seen when Joe turns the tables when he has a gun to the back of his head.
Trigger, like, okay.
But the thing is, Barry doesn't hesitate, like literally whatsoever. So this one is kind of a 50-50. So the thing is, in my opinion, I don't think Joe can take Barry on in close range or in long range. So Joe would have to do what he does best, is playing the stealth game. Essentially playing the long game. So if Joe plays the cat and mouse game with Barry, I think he wins and catches Barry off guard. So the deciding factor in this fight is really how long it lasts. If Joe manages to stay hidden and draw Barry into a prolonged game of cat and mouse, I think, to be honest, Joe would take it right there. This matchup really comes down to who figures out the other first, really, to be honest. It's kind of just like another Dexter situation. I don't know. This one actually is pretty hard, and it 100% is so close. I would have to say honorable battle, because honestly it's so hard to decide who would win. It's really a 50-50. If Joe plays a long game, he would kill Barry, and if Barry got him in a close range fight or a long range fight, Barry would win. Next, we have Anton from No Country for Old Men. Now right off the bat, I put Barry over Anton 100%. So really, Anton would just go right here. The thing is, I've also made a video saying that Anton will kill Dexter, and that's true. I feel like he just would. If we really think about this, right? Anton is a killer that really doesn't play by the rule book at all. He doesn't abide by the law whatsoever. He doesn't need to get caught. Anton doesn't have a fear of getting caught. He doesn't have a facade that he puts on. He doesn't have a private life. His life is literally for the public. Everybody knows that he's a killer. Literally in the beginning of the movie, we see Anton killing a cop in the police station to get out, to escape. So he's on the run from the police from the absolute start. And if you put up Anton against people who literally need to protect their identity, Joe Goldberg literally changes his identity every season, and Dexter has a private life that he doesn't want anyone to know that he's the Bay Harbor Butcher, or just to even know that he's even capable of killing in general. And Anton would bring the best out of Dexter and Joe, putting them in situations where they're forced to kill in public. Like, remember that one scene where James Stokes confronts Dexter and he's like, "Lab geek my ass." The whole public would know that Dexter and Joe are trained killers, and they're not just normal people living their day-to-day lives. So honestly, I would just have to put Anton over Joe and Dexter. Next, we have Roman Bridger from Ghostface. Now, based on everything I've already mentioned, Joe takes this one pretty easily. But not that easily, like not fish food easy peasy. So Roman is the smartest Ghostface in the franchise, and he played a major role behind the scenes, orchestrating events that shaped the entire series. However, when it comes to overall intelligence and long-term planning, to be honest, Joe's IQ and strategic thinking far exceeds Roman's. While Roman has the physicality and endurance to hold his own, Joe has taken down physically stronger opponents by outsmarting them in close combat. At the end of the day, I think Joe will take this, but honestly, I think it'll take some time. Next, we have Hannibal Lecter from Hannibal, and honestly, I don't even really have to say anything about this. To be honest, I would put Hannibal just right up there. Next, we have Patrick Bateman from American Psycho. Next, we have Johann Lieber from Monster. Now, honestly, I don't even think we have to debate this, just like Hannibal. Honestly, I think Johann even might be smarter than Hannibal, or basically the same exact intelligence. Johann isn't just intelligent, he's literally a mastermind. He literally causes entire groups of people to go mad and then kill themselves. So he wouldn't even have to play the cat and mouse game with Joe. He would literally just psychologically torment him and then just make Joe kill himself. And I would just put Johann at the literal top of they to kill Joe Goldberg 100%. And Art the Clown, yeah, just put him actually put him right here. Actually, no, we'll put Art at the top of fish. If Anton ever got in a cat and mouse game with Dexter or Joe, they would win 100%. But I feel like if Anton knows that Joe and Dexter want to kill him, he would just outright probably kill them both in public, as he's killed many people in public. So honestly, I'll keep him in honorable battle, but I'll put him below Barry, because if we're going off just basically feats, everything, yes, I think Joe wins. But in a logical sense, in real life, I feel like Anton would probably kill Dexter and Joe. Because I look at these tier lists not with just feats and scaling, I look at it with real life scenarios. Like, what if these killers were put in real life scenarios versus each other's? And that's why my rankings and tier lists are all kind of weird, and everyone's like, what? This isn't just power scaling. So yeah, I'm a bit of an oddball when it comes to ranking, but hey, that's just how I do it here, and people like how I structure the videos, so hey, I kept doing it. So yeah, this is a W or L list. What is going on, everybody, and welcome your pretty faces back to the channel. My name is MCC, and thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to watch this video. Now, I've been doing this thing recently where I've been ranking my favorite TV show characters or movie characters, their chances of killing other killers. I've done Dexter, Hannibal Lecter, and Sam and Dean Winchester so far. And in this video today, we're going to be ranking killers, their chances of surviving Anton from No Country for Old Men. Now, I got this idea from a email in my business email. By the way, guys, don't send me video ideas in my business email. Join the Discord link down below and send me video ideas. But I thought that was pretty funny. So I don't really know how to give credit to this guy because he sent me this email with his full name, and I don't want to just tell you guys his full name. So whoever you are, thanks for the idea, and comment down below, and maybe I'll pin you if I know that you're that specific person. I don't know. So before we get into this tier list, let me explain the rankings for you. Coming in at S tier is They'd Kill Anton, which means They'd Kill Anton. An honorable battle, kind of like an Anakin versus Obi-Wan match, but in the end, Anton will win. Now we have mid, which kind of means mid. Little effort, which means it'll take Anton little effort to get the job done, but eventually he'll get the job done. And absolute fish food is, yeah, GG easy. So let's start with none other than Isaac Serco from Dexter. Now, this one is a pretty good matchup in my opinion. Both of them are trained marksmen who are most likely equal in skill in gun battles, and I'm going to explain why I think that right now. So both of them show very remarkable skills in their respected films. Like, for instance, they can both endure heavy damage. For example, the Isaac Serco bar fight, where Dexter baited him into his rival gang's territory, essentially. And Isaac Serco took a gunshot, almost taking off his head, to a pretty nasty knife injury on his arm where he blocked one of the attacks from his opponents, to then taking out every single opponent in the bar just by himself. Anton, on the other hand, also had a pretty similar scene to that as well, in the motel shootout scene, where Anton took out numerous opponents by himself and he sustained no injuries. But this was a planned attack on Anton's part and wasn't really an ambush like Isaac Serco. But Anton can also endure gunshots as well, as we've seen from previous scenes, and a heavy car crash collision that we saw at the end of No Country for Old Men. So in a duel where it's just a 1v1, who would win? And in my opinion, this is pretty hard, but I think I'd have to give it to Anton, and here is why. Anton wouldn't let this be a fair fight whatsoever, and honestly, neither would Isaac Serco. But Anton has one thing over Isaac Serco, and that is he doesn't care about being caught. So he'd likely just show up to Isaac Serco's strip club and just blow the place up, or just walk in there guns blazing. And also keep in mind, Anton doesn't care about killing innocents, and he'll do anything to get what he wants. So if he wants to kill Isaac Serco, he'll do anything to kill Isaac Serco. And Isaac Serco kind of adheres to the law. Well, not really. He doesn't really adhere to the law because, you know, he breaks it every single day. But I mean as in that he wants to remain a free man and would rather be free than in jail. As we've seen when Isaac gets his friend to blackmail Joey Quinn to hide evidence to, you know, allow him to be free. And yes, Isaac Serco is a mob boss and has a lot of connections and has people who would want to kill for him and do time for him, but Anton would most likely just kill them. So in the end, in my opinion, it would just be an honorable battle. To be honest, I think Anton will take the cake, but I can also see a way where Isaac Serco wins, but I'm leaning more towards Anton getting the W. Next, we have Arthur Morgan from Red Dead Redemption 2. Now, with this one, it's kind of one-sided in my opinion, and it's in Arthur's favor, and I'll tell you exactly why. So Arthur Morgan is a video game character, so he automatically just exceeds reality. And I know live action characters can defy reality too, but in this scenario, Anton kind of leans more towards reality because Arthur has one ability that will just completely solo Anton for good, which is called Deadeye. And for those who have never played Red Dead 2, I'll just show a clip of what it is to better explain it. Yeah, he basically quote-unquote slows down time and knows exactly where to shoot to instantly kill somebody. But I mean, if we want to get real technical about this, this is only a skill to showcase Arthur's fast draw skills. Like if we're talking about it like in universe, Arthur doesn't really slow down time. It just looks like he does slow down time because he has really fast draw skills. But in the end, that's still a skill that Arthur possesses in verse. So Deadeye still stands. Like Arthur's quick draw time would absolutely destroy Anton. So for this one, I'm going to have to put Arthur Morgan in They'd Kill Anton. Now we have Dexter Morgan from none other than Dexter. Okay. So I made a short on this one day and I said that Dexter Morgan would lose, but it would come very close. But now that I think about it, it could go either way, kind of 50-50. In the beginning, I always had Anton beating Dexter 100%, but now that I think about it, there's really two possibilities that this scenario could play out. And that's if Dexter can somehow get Anton before he does. And like most of all, every single victim that Dexter has, they really don't know that he's coming. That's kind of like Dexter's thing, right? And that's where you guys probably are saying, hey, well then Dexter would win easy peasy if that's where he gets all of his victims when they least expect them. But the thing is, Anton is a hitman himself. He would kind of sense that something's going on, and one way or the other, I think he would probably figure out that Dexter is onto him. Like if Anton ever knows, and I mean ever knows, that Dexter's onto him, automatically loses. And then you may ask again, why is that? Why would Dexter just automatically lose? Well, Anton, as I kind of already mentioned in the Isaac Serco situation, Anton is a barbarian. And Dexter also needs to uphold his fake personal life, way more than Isaac Serco does. If Anton knows, he'd likely just find out where Dexter lives and hold his family hostage, then bait Dexter there, killing them all. Now, this one is hard, but again, I would have to put Dexter as an honorable battle. Now you would say, wait, wouldn't this all apply to Arthur Morgan too? Wouldn't Arthur not want to be caught by the police? And yes, Arthur doesn't want to be caught by the police, but in Arthur Morgan's timeline, everybody in Red Dead Redemption is a barbarian. Well, at least every single killer. They'd be having shootouts in the town and everything, for God's sakes. It's normal back then to kill, to be honest. Coming in next, we have Agent 47. Now this is just a no-brainer. Agent 47 wins, like, no debate. Like, Agent 47 is a genetically enhanced human clone. So if you never played a Hitman game, basically think of it like Super Soldier Serum from Captain America. He's a human, but he's a super modified one. So, a superhuman. Kind of, technically. Also, I forgot to mention he can morph into people. And if you want to just take this to gun v gun, yeah, I mean, come on, Agent just takes that easily as well. It's Agent 47 we're talking about. So yeah, Agent 47 automatically, he's at the top of Fate Kill Anton, in my opinion. John Wick. Yep. No debate whatsoever, but I would put him below Agent 47 and above Arthur Morgan. And also, you might be wondering, what do you mean? These guys don't want to get caught either. These people in the top tier list are kind of barbarians in their own way as well. I mean, John Wick literally has shootouts in public, in clubs, anywhere. He kills people in front of people. John Wick does not care at all. Let's be honest. Agent 47 does literally the same thing. He's just very stealthy at doing it. Next, we have Ghostface. Now you guys might be thinking, huh? Ghostface? No, wait. My boy Ghostface uses guns too. So do you remember that one convenience store scene in Scream 6 where bro had a literal shotgun? I mean, he disarmed it from the store worker. I'll give him that. That's pretty impressive. But his main target was Sarah and Tara, and they were both basically defenseless as well, may I add. And Ghostface literally couldn't kill them with a gun. I mean, he'll be back for the sequel. I mean, maybe Roman Bridger has some sort of game on him. So where would I rank Ghostface? We'll put him in mid. Because, hey, they do always have a sequel. They'll always come back. It'll be very annoying for Anton. And, hey, maybe they might even kill Anton. But Scream 6, yeah, I mean, Anton kind of just shreds them. So it's mid. I'll put it as mid. Next, we have the Punisher. Now, this is also a complete slaughterfest. In hand-to-hand combat, Frank rips him to shreds with his bare hands. Also, in a gun duel, Frank wins again by total domination. So yeah, a majority of killers on this list will just automatically destroy, well, not automatically, because I can't say automatically, but well, I can say automatically for Agent and John Wick. So yeah, the Punisher definitely goes up here, but we're gonna have to put him right here. And next we have Patrick Bateman. Okay, so yeah, that's my list, boys. Honestly, we don't even need a tier at all. We don't even need this tier, to be honest. It's kind of useless. So yeah, what do you guys think? Did I cook? Wait, actually, I kind of tripped out. Let me put Dexter over Isaac Serco. I kind of didn't even realize that. I didn't even realize, wait, we're actually... My apology, guys. My mistake. Yeah, Dexter is 100% over Isaac Serco. I actually didn't even catch that. I thought I put Dexter over Isaac. So yeah, this is my official tier list for these characters. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening to whenever you're watching this video. My name is MCC and welcome back to another tier list video. Today, I have a special video for you guys. Today, I will be ranking these assassins slash hitmen, their chances of surviving Agent 47. Now, this is a long awaited video on my channel and I've brung out my favorite assassin slash hitman to go up against Agent 47. But actually, before we get into the video, let me explain the tiers so you understand what I'm ranking. Coming in at the top tier, we have Unstoppable Force. Now, if I put a character here, they're basically almost impossible for Agent 47 to kill. Now, 47 may be very elite, but these targets break the rules, like sometimes literally. Next, we have Elite Survivalists, which means these killers might not just survive, they might fight back. If they somehow sense that 47 is onto them early on, this can be a real showdown. Deadly but outclassed, which means these assassins are skilled and dangerous, no doubt about that. But 47's stealth and planning give him a major edge, and they might get lucky, but the odds are very slim. And dead before they know it is these killers wouldn't even realize they're being hunted until it's already over. Now, coming in first, we have Barry Berkman from Barry. Now, Barry is a Marine, a hitman, and an actor. Kind of in that exact order, but not all at the same time. And when you think about it, that's kind of a dangerous combo. I mean, what else can't he do? And I'll give it to him. He's got good combat training and some serious fighting instincts. But emotionally, Barry is kind of a wreck, in my opinion. He second guesses himself, and sometimes he just wants to leave all of the killing behind. He kind of has 1 foot in and 1 foot out. And when you have 1 foot in and 1 foot out in the killing world against Agent 47, to be exact, that hesitation is completely fatal against a superior being. Now, Barry is used to having messy confrontations, but not surgical assassinations. Barry reacts to chaos, and Agent 47 avoids it entirely. honestly. Unless someone spells it out for him, Barry probably wouldn't even realize he's being hunted until the lights go out. Sure, Barry could get lucky, especially in a face-to-face shootout, but most of the time, 47's already moved on to the next target. Barry's combat skills and instincts make him dangerous in chaotic situations, but he lacks the calm and calculated approach that you need to take on Agent 47. So even though I love my boy Barry so much and the TV show is amazing, just the character literally stands no chance against Agent 47 if we're being totally honest. And next we have Jason Bourne. So Jason Bourne is highly skilled, he's relentless, and always thinking 2 or 3 steps ahead. He's trained by government programs, and Bourne is the ultimate survivalist. He's a master of various combat techniques, a specialist in evasion, and can turn any environment into his advantage, using everyday objects as deadly weapons, or even using a magazine to disarm a trained agent. And Bourne thrives in chaos. His ability to stay cool under pressure and turn the tables on those hunting him makes him a good opponent against Agent 47. What really sets Bourne apart from someone like Agent 47 is his constant state of vigilance. He's always scanning his surroundings. Anyone can notice the tiny changes that signal Agent 47 is closing in. It's kind of Jason Bourne, because that's what he does. This scenario against Jason Bourne and Agent 47 would be like a mind game between 2 of the best strategists in the business. Bourne has the skills and adaptability to survive, but Agent 47's level of precision, patience, and stealth, like if Bourne is able to turn the tables and get ahead in the mind game, he could survive, but in a game of patience and precision, Bourne might struggle to stay 1 step ahead of Agent 47's plan. In the long run, I do have Agent 47 winning, but I do feel like Jason Bourne deserves a spot at Elite Survivalist, because even though Agent 47 has taken out crazy opponents before, I still genuinely feel Jason Bourne would have some sort of chance against Agent 47. Next, we have John Wick. Now, John Wick is the man who can take out waves of enemy with nothing but his raw skill and a bit of gun feel. From nightclubs to deserts, he's battled through impossible odds, leaving a trail of countless amount of bodies, like literally a countless amount of bodies. John Wick is the type of person who literally thrives in chaos, and his reputation for surviving the most brutal situations has made him a legend in the underworld. But here's the catch. Wick is used to fighting assassins who play by the same rules as he does. Like, he thrives in the chaos of combat. That's kind of how he gets his, spill. He's literally just a barbarian. Like, that's really the best way to explain John Wick, but a barbarian on steroids. He's a master of close quarters gunfights, brawls, and turning every situation into a complete and utter kill zone. Agent 47 is not the storm. He's the calm before the storm. You get it? Okay, that was a bad joke, I'm sorry. And Wick is the type who rushes in, guns blazing. But as we know, Agent 47 doesn't rely on chaotic gunfights. He uses his precision, patience, and planning. That's who he is. Like, he's not the type to meet Wick in an open area, and that's where the real danger lies. Because Agent 47 is all about getting the job done. He doesn't really have an ego, he doesn't need to fight people, but when he does, he can fight people close to close. Like, for instance, if Wick is slicing through rooms full of armed men, 47 is the one who's already inside, getting the job done quietly. Because you can hear John Wick coming from a mile away, but you can't hear Agent 47 coming from a mile away. That's just not how he operates. And this again is kind of just like a Jason Bourne situation, because John Wick is a relentless force. And this again would just be a high stakes cat and mouse game with Agent 47 and John Wick. To be honest, I do put John Wick in Elite Survivalists, but for surviving Agent 47 specifically, I will put him below Jason Bourne, because I feel like Jason Bourne just has, more resources than John Wick does at his disposal that he can use to, survive Agent 47. Next, we have Callum Lynch from Assassin's Creed, the movie. Now, Callum Lynch may not have spent a lifetime in the shadows like Agent 47, but thanks to the Animus, he carries the skills of generations of assassins in his blood. After syncing with his ancestor Aguilar, Callum gains access to centuries of lethal knowledge. He can climb buildings like a spider, move silently through crowds, and take down enemies with precision. When he's fully in sync, he's capable of flipping off rooftops and cutting down armed guards before they even raise their weapons. Here is the problem against Agent 47 with Callum. Callum's experience is secondhand. His skills come from memories, not from years of real-world application. Unlike Agent 47, who spent his entire life carrying out flawless assassinations talent in the modern world, Callum is still learning how to use his talents effectively. Now, he could use parkour to escape Agent 47, maybe blend into crowds, because he is very stealthy. Like, this is Assassin's Creed we're talking about. He's very stealthy. He knows how to manipulate his surroundings. But the thing is, Agent 47 won't just chase Callum through the city trying to find, oh, which one is he? Where is he at? He'll wait. He'll become the mailman, the bartender, the man behind the camera. Like, he can become anyone, then strike at the perfect moment. And for this, I mean, Callum is a deadly assassin, and he is pretty OP, but he just completely outclassed, in my opinion, against Agent 47. Well, not completely outclassed, but just outclassed. We'll give him that. And next, we have Anton Chigurh from No Country for Old Men. Now, Anton Chigurh isn't your average hitman. He's more like a walking nightmare. He kind of reminds me of Two-Face and the Joker at the same time, with the coin and just being the embodiment of chaos. He basically decides if they deserve to die or live, you know, the person that's in front of him. But honestly, against Agent 47, like, it's just not even like a fair fight, to be honest. And Anton is scary because he follows his own strange set of rules. He's kind of like fate in a way, but 47 doesn't have any rules. It's just like a mission for him. But yeah, at the end of the day, Anton is terrifying, no doubt, as I already said, but I mean, and against Agent 47, he's just really dead before they know it. Like, when you compare Anton to everybody on this list, yeah, he deserves this spot. And I will put him over Barry, 100%. Now next, we have Robert McCall from The Equalizer. Now, what makes Robert McCall stand out isn't just his combat skills, it's his sense of timing and purpose. Like, he only acts when he believes it's necessary. However, the wild card here is McCall's intuition. He's not just observant, he's uncanny when it comes to sensing that something is wrong, and this is the key in going up against someone like Agent 47, is intuition. Like, if he picks up on the hit, if the pattern of his life just feels a little off, then the game shifts entirely, like the cat and mouse game between them. Like, at that point, it becomes less of an assassination and more of a duel between two apex predators. And that's where things get really spicy. In a one-on-one against McCall and Agent 47, well, actually, it's not pretty hard. I feel like Agent 47 would win in a close quarters combat fight. And honestly, with Robert McCall surviving Agent 47 in this scenario, because this is about, you know, surviving Agent 47, and I feel like Robert McCall just has the most, what do you say? Not even just resources, just the mental capacity, or I don't even know the right word, just the mental fortitude, I guess you could say, to survive the 47. But is he a completely unstoppable force? Honestly, I'll put Robert McCall at the top of elite survivalists. Next, we have Deadpool. And let's be honest, trying to assassinate Deadpool is kind of like trying to drown a fish in water. It's kind of pointless. Like, Agent 47 is the master of clean kills, no doubt. Like, he's the man you call when you want someone erased from existence without a trace. But Deadpool? He's like if a Saturday morning cartoon character got thrown into a Quentin Tarantino film and then came out stronger. But let's say Agent 47 goes all in, tracks Deadpool across continents, poses as a taco vendor, delivers a poisoned burrito, and then fires a perfect shot from half a mile away. Guess what? Deadpool is going to be fine. He'll just get back on his feet and then probably compliment Agent 47 on his aim, be like, damn, great shot, man. And then there's the fourth wall issue as well, because we have to put that in. I mean, it's literally canon. He breaks the fourth wall, Deadpool. Like, Deadpool knows he's in a video, and he probably would know that I'm making a video on him right now. He'd probably call Agent 47 by his name, and then me by my name, Movie Critics Club, and then quote the game series that Agent 47 was in, and then somehow probably use it against him. I don't even know how he would even do that, and that's like trying to beat someone in chess when they already know every move you're about to make. Now, let's say this, Agent 47 could get creative. Maybe he traps Deadpool in a collapsing building, or sticks him in a rocket, launches him into orbit, or just some random thing, I don't know. And at best, Agent 47 could complete the contract temporarily. Like, he could shoot him, and then Wade could be, you know, shot, and then he'd be like, yo, yeah, I shot him, but somehow he came back. So yeah, without a doubt, Deadpool is an unstoppable force that Agent 47 just can't beat. And next, we have the Bride from Kill Bill. She's a master of swordsmanship and has taken down entire factions with ease, and she survived things that would kill most people, like a bullet to the head. And I mean, I know she was in a coma for it, but I mean, she inevitably survived it. So I mean, we'll give her that. And being buried alive in a coffin. And how does she survive all of this, you may ask? Well, it's simple. revenge. But then you might say, she doesn't have revenge on Agent 47. She wouldn't even know he's coming until she senses it. So then how would she want revenge if Agent 47 is only coming for her? But let's say Agent 47 was getting in her way of her getting revenge. That's a better way to put it, I guess. Now, she does have good instincts, and she does have good combat skills, just like everybody on this list who has good combat skills. Yeah, I really shouldn't even say that anymore. Yeah, with this one, I feel like I don't even really have to go more in depth into it, but I would say with her, honestly, I would put her in deadly but outclassed and over Callum Lynch. Well, honestly, now that I think about it, this is surviving Agent 47, and you know, Callum has more of a better way to survive Agent 47 with his stealth and everything like that. So just because of that, yes, we'll put her below Callum. It's finally about that time that I've actually made a Brian Moser tier list video. Now, a lot of you guys have been asking me, dude, you always cover Dexter. Why not do Brian Moser, his literal brother? And you're right, I should have made a video sooner to milk Dexter even further. So today we are milking Dexter even further. So in this video, which serial killers can survive Brian Moser? And without further ado, let's just get straight into this. So coming in at the top tier is They'd Kill Brian Moser. Pretty self-explanatory. Honorable battle, which means it'll be a pretty close fight, like Anakin versus Obi-Wan type of fight, but in the end, Brian Moser will win. And it'll take some time, which means it'll be a couple episode kill for Brian to kill them. And in the back of the ice truck is a 1 episode easy peasy GG. And now coming in first, we have Joe Goldberg. Now season 5 actually just came out a couple days ago, or a week ago as I'm recording this right now, and honestly they completely nerfed Joe Goldberg in season 5. Like, this guy literally got baited by Redditors. Like, think about it, this guy was a billionaire. He had a loving wife who accepted him for who he truly is, and he finally got his son back, and on top of that, he finally got his real name back so he doesn't have to hide anymore, and he still lost it all to literal Redditors. Like, people that aren't even killers and aren't even detectives at that. They brung down Joe Goldberg, and also he got beat up by Regan, which, to be honest, she might have had like some crazy MMA training or was probably trained by Bruce Wayne, so I mean, we'll give her that because she's pretty OP. But yeah, they just completely nerfed Joe Goldberg in season 5. I really think it'll just take some time for Brian Moser, and I have Dexter over Joe, so if I have Dexter over Joe, so that just automatically means that Brian will win. And next we have Hannibal Lecter. Now right off the bat, I have to put Hannibal in They'd Kill Brian Moser. Hannibal Lecter is one of the strongest killers in serial killer fiction. This guy has never been caught with solid evidence and has been killing since he was just a kid. And also on top of that, he can manipulate people to even do his bidding as well. Now we actually saw in Original Sin that Brian actually had a therapist. Well, he did inevitably kill his therapist, but just imagine if Hannibal was Brian Moser's therapist. That would have took a turn into left field real quick. And this time, it wouldn't have been the therapist who dies. It would be the complete other way around. And honestly, Hannibal probably wouldn't even kill Brian. He would probably manipulate Brian into killing just for his pure entertainment. And if things ever get out of hand, he'll end up on his plate. And next, we have David McCall. Now this is Joe Goldberg's father. Now I don't mean in the literal sense that he's Joe Goldberg's father. I mean in the sense that he's been doing the stuff that Joe's been doing way before he even did it. So David McCall isn't a careful killer whatsoever. He's kind of exactly like Patrick Bateman in a way of killing. Like, he charges in head first. He thinks that his power and intimidation will always make him win in every single circumstance. And since we're talking about Brian Moser, I mean, I feel like he could definitely beat him in a hand-to-hand fight, no doubt. I'd feel like Brian would stay hidden, stalk from the shadows, and wait for the perfect time to pick him up in the ice truck. And in a cat and mouse game against Brian Moser, I feel like David would just crumble under pressure, and he gets in the back of the ice truck immediately, like a 1 episode kill. And next we have Patrick Bateman. So Bateman kind of falls under the same exact category as David. Bateman has just somewhat more of a little bit of sense to him, even though he's way more psychotic, and he does outright kill people. But the thing is, he does have wealth, and he kind of understands what he's doing at some times. Like the scene with Paul Allen when he laid newspaper down on the floor and then put on a raincoat. He's somewhat of an intelligent killer when he wants to, but inevitably Brian Moser will just completely crumble this man, and really Patrick Bateman has no chance against Brian Moser. And next we have Dexter Morgan, the moment that you've all been waiting for. Who would win, Dexter or Brian? And you guys are probably saying, actually we already saw who would win in season 1 when Dexter actually killed Brian. But I'm not gonna lie, if things played differently and Brian didn't have this insane emotional attachment to Dexter, Brian would have killed Dexter years ago. I'm talking years ago, and let me explain why. In terms of skill, I would say Brian just has so much more than Dexter. Brian has had to deal with the more difficulties of life. He literally grew up without a brother, without a mother, and without a father. He was jumping from foster care home to foster care home, and he learned all of his traits, all of his skills on his own. He didn't have a father to literally teach him an entire code on how to not get caught. He learned that by himself, and if not, did it better than Dexter. Because think about it, Dexter killed people that you wouldn't really miss. Like a criminal, I mean, like, come on, people wouldn't really miss criminals who've done crazy heinous things. Yes, Brian has killed hookers, but hookers are still innocent people at the end of the day. They're not killers. And also, as I just said in this video, Brian has killed his therapist, and he's even killed other innocent people. And killing innocent people and getting away with it, honestly, that's so much harder to do than killing criminals and getting away with it. And also, as we've seen in hand-to-hand combat, Brian exceeds Dexter. At the end of season 1, Dexter sneak attacked Brian. Like, he completely wasn't expecting that, and he still turned the tides and won that fight. So at the end of the day, if Brian didn't have that emotional attachment to Dexter, like, I want to be reunited with my brother so bad, he could have just killed Dexter easily whenever he wanted to. So for this, I'll have it as an honorable battle, but I do have Brian killing Dexter. And next we have Michael Myers from the first Halloween movie, because people do tend to say that Michael Myers was a human in this film, but I don't really buy it. I mean, this guy has survived how many gunshots to the chest and then fell out of a 2-story building and survived and walked out like it was nothing. So yeah, just durability alone, there's no way Brian is winning in a hand-to-hand fight with a Michael Myers. Just off of his sheer durability alone. Doesn't even matter if Michael has no combat skills and walks like a snail. He's still beating him in hand-to-hand combat. Now, they both are two excellent stalkers, but when it comes to the boogeyman, the guy who practically invented stalking, Michael Myers just wins 9 times out of 10, but I do have Hannibal over Michael Myers. And next we have Ghostface. So for this one, we'll use Roman Bridger, because in my opinion, I think Roman Bridger is the smartest Ghostface out of all of them. So Brian and Roman Bridger are both clever and dangerous, but they work in very different ways. So Roman is all about chaos and drama, and he hides behind costumes and voice changers and loves pulling the strings from behind the scenes. Like, he's a very theatrical guy. And Brian is literally the complete opposite. He's calm, patient, and very methodical, just like Dexter. And Brian doesn't really want attention. He wants to be in full control, like Dexter again. So if these two ever went up against each other, Roman might put up a fight at first. I mean, he's fast and aggressive and doesn't really hesitate to kill, but Brian doesn't play the same game that Roman plays. He watches from the background, learns everything about his target, and waits for the right time to strike. And Roman's biggest flaw is his ego. He's emotional and wants credit for everything that he does, and that kind of thinking makes him very sloppy. So sooner or later, Roman would slip up like he does in the movie, and Brian would 100% be just one step ahead. Now, for this one, I don't think I would put it in honorable battle, but do I put Roman Bridger over Joe Goldberg season 5? But for this, I would put Roman Bridger below Joe Goldberg, but we're talking about season 5 Joe Goldberg, so honestly, I'm not gonna lie, I do have Roman Bridger over season 5 Joe Goldberg. I'm not gonna lie, if I'm being honest. And next, we have Arthur Mitchell. Now, right off the bat, I would have to put him in honorable battle, but I would put him below Dexter Morgan. Now, as we already know, in season 4, Dexter already infiltrated Trinity's life. Like, he became close quote-unquote friends with Arthur while simultaneously trying to kill him at the same exact time. Now that is some really good stalking, but that's something that Brian Moser could do as well, if not better, because Brian Moser has more charm, he's not socially awkward. But I would say this, he doesn't have the resources that Dexter has. Like, he doesn't have police records, and he doesn't work for Miami Metro Police Department, and he doesn't have Frank Lundy's, whole entire file on him. So yeah, he would have to work a little bit harder than Dexter, but in the end, if Dexter can get Trinity, then Brian can get Trinity. And the thing is, Brian has really nothing to lose except Dexter, and Dexter can hold his own against Arthur, as we've already seen. So Trinity couldn't really pull a Rita on Brian because he has nobody except Dexter, and as I already said, Dexter can hold his own. So yeah, it would be an honorable battle, but I have Brian killing Trinity 110%. And oh my god, we have a duplicate of David McCall, so oops. And Jeffrey Dahmer, yeah, there's really no debate in this whatsoever. He's in the back of the ice truck. What is going on, boys and girls, and welcome to my long awaited Homelander video. I mean, everybody loves The Boys, am I right? And season 5 is low-key right around the corner. Well, not right around the corner, it's about a year around the corner. But in honor of The Boys, I decided, hey, let's just make a Homelander video, and today I'm going to bring it to you finally. I know I actually have a pretty good lineup here, if I indeed do say so myself, so you guys are in for a treat. So without further ado, let me explain the tiers for you guys so you understand what I am ranking. Now, coming in first is we have They'd Kill a Homelander, which is pretty self-explanatory. Honorable battle, which means it would kind of be a 50-50. It'd be like a very close fight, but in the end, I do have Homelander winning. And it'll take some time is basically, it's a little bit of a road bump for Homelander, but inevitably he'll get the job done. An easy fight is, yeah, easy peasy. Like, are you serious? Now, coming in first, we have our boy Peacemaker.
And his name is John C.
And honestly, I can't wait for the newest season. Type 1 in the chat if you agree. So, Peacemaker is a highly trained combatant and a skilled marksman who will stop at nothing to achieve peace, hence, the name. Now, no matter how many people he has to kill, he will still try to achieve peace, which is kind of like a contradiction. But he's got serious fighting skills, advanced weapons, and a ruthless mindset that makes him very unpredictable and also very dangerous. However, Peacemaker is a human, and when you're a human against someone like Homelander, low-key it kinda limits you, I'm not gonna lie. Now, Peacemaker can dodge and he can strategize, but no gun or gadget that this guy has can really be any match to that raw power that Homelander has, and the fight would be absolutely brutal. Now, Peacemaker might land some shots or even try to get in close and try some hand-to-hand combat. I don't even know what this guy can do, but inevitably Homelander's speed and strength mean that he could just end the fight completely quickly. So I mean, in the end, let's be real, and in the end, Homelander just completely disintegrates Peacemaker, let's be real. And next we have Bullseye. So Bullseye, in my opinion, is one of the deadliest marksmen in the Marvel Universe. This guy literally has IRL aimbot, that's kind of his superpower. And he can turn almost anything into a lethal weapon, and he never misses a target. His crazy, and I mean crazy precision makes him a terrifying assassin against ordinary people. Now, even though that Bullseye has IRL aimbot and he can hit almost literally everything on Homelander, even though Homelander is really fast and you can probably just speed blitz him, but since he has crazy precision, he could probably land almost everything on Homelander. I'm not just saying this fight would be easy, because in my opinion, I kind of do like Dex, and I mean, I'm kind of biased because the show was good too. I mean, I can't lie. Bullseye's best chance in this scenario, he would have to try to be really sneaky, use surprise attacks, and even target Homelander's weaknesses. And Homelander has this weird weakness, if you talk trash to him, yeah, that's his weakness, but then again, that doesn't automatically mean that you're going to kill him. You kind of have to make a hit piece for the entire world to hate him. That's kind of how you bring him down. But in a 1v1, that's not really going to do anything, to be honest. We'll just put him in, it'll take some time for Homelander, because he does have crazy aimbot, so I mean, we'll give him that. Maybe he chugs some compound V and then goes straight to it, that could be a problem. But just Bullseye alone, I mean, yeah, he would lose to Homelander. And next we have Brightburn. Now here is where things definitely get interesting. So Brightburn is basically an evil Superman kid, or even an evil Homelander kid. It's really either or. I mean, but then again, Homelander is evil, so it could just be Homelander's kid. I mean, yeah, whatever. And Brightburn isn't fully grown. He's a kid, but he is very terrifying, and the movie is very graphic. It really is. Now he has super strength, heat vision, flight, and invulnerability, just like Homelander. But the big difference is Brandon is younger and less experienced. Now Brandon doesn't really hold back, like, whatsoever. Like in the movie, he tears through people like paper and destroys anything in his way. Like if he feels threatened, he will just kill you instantly. Like he doesn't care at all. Like there's no hesitation with this guy whatsoever. It's just complete violence, kind of just like Homelander. And that alone makes it a really good, matchup against Homelander. And Homelander is more experienced in combat. He's also smarter, and he's used to being challenged by more powerful enemies. And if they fought, honestly, it would probably be very intense. They crash through buildings, blast each other with heat vision, and tear up the entire city, kind of just like a Viltrumite battle. Let's be real. Now, Homelander might even get injured, and that's something that almost never happens in his universe. I do have Homelander winning, but I'm not gonna lie, this fight would be kind of crazy, and honestly, I would have to put Brandon in honorable battle, because Brandon could definitely leave a mark and possibly, maybe, kill Homelander if the situation is right. And next we have Bane. Now this time we have Bane from the Arkhamverse, because it's more of like an OP version of Bane. And in the movies, Bane isn't really that OP. I'm talking about the Dark Knight trilogy or the Christopher Nolan trilogy. Now Bane has this Titan formula to pump himself up with massive strength. That's why he looks like this huge, big, giant buff man. Now in a one-on-one fight, Bane would definitely hold his own, but like only for a little while, let's be honest. Now Homelander's powers are like Superman's, but with like none of the kindness that he has. Now even Bane, if you put him on the strongest dose of Titan, I'm talking about like if you put cocaine in that, there is no way he's even going to, well, I'm not going to say no way, but there's no way he's going to kill. Honestly, I can't say no way. Maybe there's a little, because his strength is insane. But then again, we have to understand that Homelander doesn't play fair. Like if Bane tried to charge him head on, Homelander would literally fly out of the way and then laser him before he can even get close. Just laser off the venom that's soaking into his pores, and then boom, he's completely cooked. So for this, Homelander wins again, but honestly, it'll take some time and I'll put him over Bullseye. And next we have Master Chief. Now Master Chief is a highly trained super soldier from the Halo universe, equipped with advanced armor, top tier weapons, and decades of combat experience. He is one of the most skilled warriors out there in his universe. Best bet against Homelander would have to be guerrilla tactics, like hit and run attacks and traps, and also trying to exploit any weakness that Homelander might have. But then again, as I've already been saying every single time I talk about this, can't really use Homelander's weakness of talking trash to him. It kind of needs to be like a broad international hit piece on Homelander to even get him somewhat weakened. But I would put him in easy fight. I'm just not gonna lie, let's be honest. And here's when we dive into the good stuff. Next, we have Mark Grayson, or Invincible. Now, Mark Grayson, also known as Invincible, is a young Viltrumite. He's not as strong or as experienced as his dad, Omni-Man, at least in the first 3 seasons of the show. But he's constantly getting stronger throughout the first 3 seasons of the show, and in season 4, he'll even be way stronger. And also, he does inevitably pass Omni-Man in power in the comics, but since we're only talking about the show, but even though the comics are based off the show, I mean, you guys know what I mean. You guys know what I mean. So Mark Grayson does not give up whatsoever, even when he's beaten to a pulp. No, I mean like literally when he's beaten to a pulp. Now on paper, Homelander and Mark are pretty evenly matched. On paper. On paper. Because they both have super strength, flight, and heat vision. Well, I mean, Mark doesn't have lasers, but he's tough enough to tank Homelander's, lasers. Now Homelander fights dirty and doesn't hold back, while Mark tries to protect people and he always tries to do the right thing. But that's the thing. Mark can literally lose battles and still win the war. That's his entire character arc. Now, Mark has taken serious, and I mean serious beatings from Viltrumites. So honestly, there's no way Homelander's gonna hurt Mark Grayson. Let's be real. Now, if we're talking about early seasons Mark Grayson, then I'd have to say it would be a little harder for Mark to defeat Homelander. I mean, he'd obviously win though. But if we're talking about full potential Mark, like I'm talking about comic version Mark, yeah, he completely destroys Homelander with his eyes. So Invincible, I mean, this isn't even a debate. And next we have Superman. Now, Superman is literally the gold standard for superpowered heroes. He's faster than a speeding bullet, stronger than anybody on Earth, and he's nearly invincible. Now, like Homelander, he can fly and he can shoot heat vision, but Superman's powers come from the sun and his alien heritage, not from being, you know, a weapon made in a lab. So if they faced off, it would be tense, no doubt. Now, Homelander might surprise Superman with his cruelty and unpredictability, and Superman would have to be careful not to hold back in this situation. Right off the bat, Superman's fighting skills and raw power give him the edge over Homelander right off the bat. But then again, this just pains me to say, with the character Superman, just for some reason, he has this one huge weakness that completely nerves him. A green rock. Yeah, it's kryptonite. I'm sure all of you guys know this. We're gonna have to be honest here. If Homelander gets his hands on that, well, honestly, this pains me to say, but it probably wouldn't end too good for Superman. And that's the problem. You see, like, Superman would completely destroy Homelander. Like, oh my god, this wouldn't even be a fair fight. But that damn weakness, that, like, literally anybody can use that against him. I mean, for God's sakes, even Batman beat him, and he's a human. That's how powerful kryptonite is against Superman. So honestly, Homelander might have the advantage here if he has kryptonite. And honestly, if he has kryptonite, it would be kind of raps for Superman. But honestly, since I hate that kryptonite bullshit so much, nah, come on, he kills Homelander, bro. Let's just say there's no kryptonite involved, even though it technically has to be involved. But for this video, screw that. And next we have Omni-Man. Now you guys are probably wondering, if Mark Grayson can kill Homelander, wouldn't Omni-Man just be in the same exact tier? And you're correct, he would 100% be in the same exact tier, 100%. And yeah, show Omni-Man completely destroyed Mark Grayson. I mean, like, if you've seen season 1, oh my god, it was pretty brutal, but then again, that's season 1. But still, it's season 1 Omni-Man, like, he's still really strong, so he would 110% destroy, and not even destroy, he would slaughter Homelander, probably with his eyes closed. And last but not least, we have Ghost Rider. Now, honestly, I thought this would actually be a pretty good matchup. I'm not gonna lie, it kind of makes sense. Because if Homelander ever went up against Ghost Rider, he'd be in serious trouble. And Ghost Rider is all about vengeance, and Homelander has given him plenty of reasons to come knocking. Now, Ghost Rider's main weapon is Hellfire, and it doesn't just burn flesh, it burns the soul. Now, Homelander might have bulletproof skin, but his soul is full of guilt, rage, and violence. And that's exactly the kind of target Ghost Rider feeds on. And then there's the penance stare, Ghost Rider's most dangerous ability. Like, if he locks eyes with somebody, he can force them to feel every bit of pain they've ever caused others. Now, Homelander has killed innocent people, traumatized civilians, and hurt people just to feel powerful. Like, if Ghost Rider hits him with the penance stare, Homelander would be crushed under the weight of all that suffering. And on top of that, one of his weaknesses is emotionality, or emotional, or is emotionality a word, right? Yeah, it is. Whatever. So right off the bat, Ghost Rider, I mean, he completely destroys Homelander. And yeah, that's my list. It's pretty bonkers. It's pretty weird. I mean, Master Chief kind of doesn't really belong here, but other than that, I feel like all of these contestants kind of make sense somewhat in some way. But yeah, if you guys want a part 2, let me know in the comments. Comment down below some characters. What is going on, everybody, and welcome back to another video. Today I have something different for you. Instead of a Dexter video, I bring to you a Hannibal Lecter video. Now, I made a video in the past ranking killers their chances of surviving Dexter, and in this video we'll be doing the same thing but for Hannibal Lecter. So just like every single video, let me explain the tiers for you guys. In the top tier we have they'd kill Hannibal. This means they'd kill Hannibal. Worthy contenders, which means they'll put up a good fight against Hannibal, but in the end they'll lose. Somewhat hard, which means they'll try to pull something off, but in the long run, they just won't get anywhere at all. And the bottom tier, they're fish food, which means they have absolutely no chance. They just get obliterated. Coming in at number 1, we have Patrick Bateman from American Psycho. Now, Patrick Bateman actually had a therapist in the sequel novel to American Psycho. I think it was American Psycho 2, where his therapist was actually called Dr. M. And as we all know, in the TV show, Hannibal is a therapist. And as we all know, Patrick Bateman, pretty wealthy, we know he has the money. What if Hannibal Lecter was Patrick Bateman's therapist? And if he was, it would be over before it even started. And throughout the novels and the movie, Patrick Bateman really has no skill or competence at all in killing. In the movies, he practically just goes around on a murder spree without any meticulous planning. Now, the murder sprees that he goes on throughout the movies aren't planned at all. There's no strategy behind it, he just does. And practically all his victims were just civilians. Some homeless people and some women, and Paul Allen. So logically speaking, if Hannibal went up against Patrick Bateman, he would win, no questions asked. Patrick Bateman is completely fish food to Hannibal Lecter. Like literally, he would eat Patrick Bateman for a snack. Next, we have Dexter Morgan. Now, I actually made a video on this. If you guys want to go check it out, you can check it out. It's an in-depth analysis of Dexter Morgan versus Hannibal Lecter. And in the end, I gave the win to Hannibal Lecter because Hannibal Lecter just has more feats overall. Hannibal Lecter is a character that just cannot be realistic at all. He's just way too intelligent. His fight scenes and the choreography in the TV show are just so unrealistic. It's like fantasy fighting in a way. Like he could be a villain in a superhero movie. Now, some people could argue hand-to-hand combat for Dexter because Dexter's highly skilled in martial arts. While yes, he maybe could win in hand-to-hand combat against Hannibal, I still don't think he kills Hannibal. So I'm going to put Dexter in worthy contenders because he 100% without a doubt is a worthy contender, and it definitely would be a very hard match for Hannibal, no doubt. So if you want to see a full in-depth analysis behind this reasoning, go to the 1v1 on my YouTube channel. Next, we have the Joker from the comics. Now, comic book Joker is just way too OP, and I really don't even have to explain this at all. This is the guy who goes hand to hand with Batman every single day. I mean, heck, it's even hard for Batman to sometimes track the Joker. And I have Batman beating Hannibal Lecter 10 times out of 10. So this, in my opinion, really needs no explanation at all. If you've ever read a Batman comic book with the Joker in it, you 100% understand this. Anton from No Country for Old Men. Now, 100% I give this a worthy contender. Anton is completely unpredictable and will kill in broad daylight in front of people. He doesn't care where it happens, he just wants to kill. I mean, if you watch the movie, you know, he literally kills whenever, wherever. He doesn't care about getting caught. His end result is literally just to kill. He's basically a barbarian. I still think that Hannibal will beat Anton. Hannibal is also capable of wielding guns. So yes, it would be hard for Hannibal to keep his secret as the Chesapeake Ripper if he's going up against Anton. And not even just that, his freedom. Because that wouldn't really prove that he's a Chesapeake Ripper if he kills Anton. It would just prove that he's a murderer. Because Anton could come at him in the daylight, nighttime, evening, morning, whenever. But just for an example, end of season 2 Hannibal, where Jack Crawford comes into Hannibal's home, draws a gun at him. Keep in mind, Hannibal has no gun, and he disarms Jack with a knife. Keep in mind, Jack is an FBI agent, so he's not a chump marksman. So I feel like Hannibal would do something along those lines if Anton ran in his house with his signature shotgun. But yes, a shotgun does do way more damage than a handgun, and it's way harder to disarm a shotgun, but still. Sam and Dean Winchester. Now, I know Sam and Dean Winchester aren't evil, but they're still killers. They don't kill innocent people, but they still kill monsters. And for this, 100%. I even put him over the Joker. They would kill Hannibal easy peasy. Even if they die, they just come back. Also, it's a 2v1. Also, they have military background. Also, they literally fight monsters, sometimes hand to hand for a living. So yeah, just based off that. And also they have an angel by their side. So yeah, David McCall from Fear 1996. Now, if you've never seen Fear 1996, I highly recommend this movie because this movie is criminally underrated. The best explanation you can give this character is he's basically Joe Goldberg's father. If you've ever seen You and you watch Fear, I mean, the parallel between these shows are just impeccable. But since David McCall really isn't that skilled of a killer, he knows how to fight for certainly, and I would kind of put him over Patrick Bateman in my opinion, but I just don't think he's a worthy contender at all. I think he would be somewhat, I don't know, he's kind of fish food. Actually, yeah, he's fish food. But I'll put him over Patrick Bateman 100%. Next, we have Ghostface. Now, since there's so many Ghostface characters throughout the movie, we'll just do Billy Loomis, the original. Or, hey, let's do a 2v1, Stu and Billy Loomis versus Hannibal Lecter. We'll give Ghostface the upper hand in this one. This would be somewhat hard considering it is a 2v1. When I mean a 2v1, I mean Billy and Stu will charge at Hannibal. But since Billy and Stu don't really have that much combat experience at all, and really throughout the film they kill high schoolers, so yeah, I would just put it in somewhat hard just because it's 2v1. But if it was Billy and Stu alone, it would be fish food 100%. And also just because Ghostface always comes back, there's always a sequel. Joe Goldberg, yeah, he's just gonna be fish food. I mean, 100%. I mean, this is his father right here. Now, this is not literally his father. When I say that, it's just a joke, and I have to say that just because there's gonna be that one person that comments that. Jeffrey Dahmer, I mean, like, come on. Brian Moser. This one's pretty hard because straight away you could say he's a worthy contender because he went toe-to-toe with Dexter. Yes, Dexter did kill his brother Brian, because think about it. If Brian actually really wanted Dexter dead and he never revealed himself to Dexter, he would have never died. He had so many chances to kill Dexter, and that's why, in my opinion, I would put him over Dexter. Brian literally always had the upper hand. I mean, he was literally in Dexter's apartment numerous amount of times, and Dexter never found out that it was him. Could never even put a face to it. Brian literally knew where he lived. If he wanted to, while Dexter was sleeping, he could have easily ended it right then and there. So yeah, that's why I put him over Dexter. And I'm sure all of you guys can agree. So yeah, this is my list. What do you guys think? I think I cooked, but whenever I say I cooked, I usually didn't cook, and I get cooked in the comments. So yeah, let me know. What is going on, guys, and welcome back to part 2 on ranking these popular killers on their chance of surviving Dexter. Now, let me just explain the tiers one more time for you guys. So the first tier is Dexter could never. Now, this is pretty self-explanatory. If I put a character in this tier, that means, yo, Dexter has no chance of ever getting this guy on his table. And most likely that killer could easily evade Dexter or actually kill Dexter, either or. It's very unlikely, but possible. This means Dexter could get them on his table, but it would be pretty hard and near impossible. It'll take some time, basically saying, yeah, Dexter could get him on his table. Like, if I had to put it in Dexter terms, it's basically it'll take a couple episodes for Dexter to kill them. And on his table, 100%. This is easy peasy. This is a 1 episode kill. No doubt about it. And too easy, lol. I mean, come on. Starting off, we have Ghostface. Now, with Ghostface, it's kind of hard because Ghostface isn't just one person, it's a lot of people. But for this, let's just say this is Billy and Stu. It's a 2v1. We're gonna give Ghostface a little bit more of an advantage. Now, could Billy and Stu defeat Dexter? Now, a 2v1 for Dexter, I mean, even anybody, a 2v1 is pretty hard, especially when it's 2 killers and not just 2 normal people. But I'm gonna say it'll take some time if it's Billy and Stu. If it's just Billy by himself and Stu by himself, it'll be on his table 100%. But since it's 2 people, and we're talking about 2 people in Scream 1, it's going to take some time. Yeah, Dexter maybe could take them on 2 versus 1 because Dexter's a very skilled fighter, and I don't think Stu and Billy have really any combat experience. So yeah, it'll take some time, but I feel like he can definitely get Stu and Billy on his table. I feel like he would have 2 tables for them actually. He would put Billy on one side and Stu on the other. William Afton. Now this one is very tricky because William Afton has 2 forms, Springtrap and his human form. Now, if William Afton is Springtrap, then I mean, Dexter could never, let's be honest. I mean, Springtrap is not even a human. He's a possessed animatronic with insane strength. There's no way Dexter is even going to get near. Well, I mean, he could definitely get near Springtrap if he wanted to, but he would get, destroyed. So yeah, if it's Springtrap, then no, he cannot get him on his table at all. I mean, he would just be he's literally supernatural. Come on. If it's William Afton, I would say it's very unlikely but possible, just because William Afton is like this insane guy, like nobody even knows what he looks like. He's never been captured. It's going to be very hard for Dexter to get him if he has no idea what he looks like. And yes, the Five Nights at Freddy's movie shows William Afton's face, but I'm talking about the video game version. Just for this, I'm going to put him at Dexter Could Never. Arthur Morgan. Now, I made a short about this, basically saying, yo, if Dexter was put in Arthur's world, then Dexter cannot get him at all. But if Arthur was put in Dexter's world, then Dexter could get him easily. Because it's kind of hard. Because Red Dead is set in what, the 1800s or early 1900s? I don't really remember. And Dexter's set in what, like 2013, 2008? I'm not 100% sure, but the time differences are drastic. It would be hard for Arthur to survive in Dexter's world, and it would be hard for Dexter to survive in Arthur's. So that's why it's situational. I'm gonna have to put him under William Afton. I don't know. Let's make a tier. We'll just put a situation. Okay, yeah, we'll put him in a situation tier but then again, situation doesn't mean it's higher than in Dexter's Dream. I just have this here because he could be here, but he could also be here. So that's why we're gonna put him in the situation tab, if that makes any sense. And the situation tab is only for these two, the top tier. Now, Light. He's above William Afton 100%. Bro, Light has the literal Death Note. I mean, come on. Do I even have to explain myself? Light is someone that you do not want to mess with. All he has to do is see your face, write down your name in his book, and GG, bruh. Like, GG. And even L, who's way smarter than Dexter, couldn't even prove that Light was Kira. So, John Kramer. I also made a short about this, but I want to say something that's different from the short I made about this. John Kramer just by himself, not even like with the traps and everything, bro has brain cancer. He's basically hospital bound. If Dexter ever saw him on the street, which I mean, yeah, it'd be very unlikely to see John Kramer on the street, right? But if John Kramer didn't know anything about Dexter, and Dexter knew everything about John Kramer, it would be over for John Kramer. If John Kramer got Dexter in his trap, I think it would be wraps for Dexter. But then again, you guys can argue, bro, random people got out of John Kramer's traps. Why couldn't Dexter? And yeah, you're right. That's correct. I mean, and they're also kind of lucky. To survive the game, you kind of have to get lucky. Let's be real. So this one is also situational. Or actually, I'm just going to put him here. In Dexter's Dreams, I don't think so. It's going to be hard. Michael Myers. Actually, this is a hard one. Do I even put him over Light? Actually, no, I don't put him over Light. Oh, actually, this is hard because Michael Myers is also supernatural and can't die, and you know what I'm saying? But he can be hurt. If you shoot him, he goes down, he gets stunned, but then he comes back up. Like, he never really dies. Yes, all these new Halloween movies always end up with him, quote unquote, dead. But then again, he always comes back to life. Nah, I feel like I would put Light over Michael Myers just because Light could just easily write his name. Michael actually has to put in some work, but then again, Michael has this brute strength and he's crazy and he's a supernatural being. It's either this or that or that. I'm gonna just keep it like that. You know what I'm saying? Actually, we're gonna skip Anton and go to Jack the Ripper. Now, on his table, 100%. Bro, Jack the Ripper back in 1800. Okay, well then I have to be also situational again with this too, because I compared Arthur Morgan's world to Dexter's world. Yeah, he never got caught. Yeah, we have no idea what he looks like. Okay, if you put Dexter back in the 1800s, I feel like you could easily find out who Jack the Ripper is, just solely because of how smart Dexter is. Actually, we can't put him on his table 100%. It would have to be, it'll take some time because we also have to take into consideration that, you know, he was never found. But situationally speaking, if you put Dexter back in the 1800s with like, yes, he doesn't have the modern technology he has now, but he still keeps all his feats, all his attributes, all his smarts. Yes, he could get him 100%. I feel like he could. John Doe from Seven. I'm gonna put him below John Kramer. Now, I watched Seven. It's a great movie. Bro, the ending, mind blown. Also, Brad Pitt's performance, amazing. And obviously Morgan Freeman, the GOAT, great performance. It's an A+ movie. Actually, freak that. It's an S tier plus movie. If you guys have never seen it, I need you guys to go see it. Dexter has caught people who have evaded the FBI for decades. Example, the Trinity Killer. In season 4, when Lundy came back to Miami because he was investigating the Trinity Killer and he thought that Trinity Killer would be back in Miami, Lundy's been on that case for decades, and he even was retired, right, in season 4, and then he came back and he was like, wait, this is just personal vendetta or something like that. I'm not 100% sure. Also, a great agent, right? He's an FBI rock star. Even James Oakes called him a rock star. He's cracked insane cases. If Frank Lundy couldn't catch the Trinity Killer, but Dexter could, bro, Dexter could catch John Doe. That's not even an argument. If Dexter can catch the Trinity Killer, he can catch John Doe. Let's be real. And actually, it's funny because we're literally not going to use these 2 tiers at all. Like, I probably should have added more people. Anton. I made a short about this saying Anton would easily destroy Dexter, and I stand by that. I mean, if you ever watched his movie, No Country for Old Men, dude's like Michael Myers, but in human form. He's pure evil. If Dexter wanted to kill Anton, he would have to drop everything. Drop Harrison, drop his job, and go straight after him. Because Anton, he doesn't care about getting caught. He doesn't care about anything. He doesn't care about collateral damage. He will do anything to kill Dexter. For all we know, he would just wait outside of Miami PD. Wait till Dexter walks out and just shoot him. He doesn't care if he gets caught. If he couldn't kill Dexter, then he would go for Harrison. He would go for Aster and Cody. Bro, Anton does not stop until he's satisfied. He doesn't care at all. So yes, Dexter could be Anton, but he would have to give up everything to do that. He would basically have to go barbarian mode. And Dexter can't do that. He has things that he has to live for. He can't get caught. That's his code. Rule number 1. You can't get caught. And he's not going to throw that all away just to kill Anton. Walter White. Made a short about this and I said Dexter could get Walter White, but this is also a situational. And I'll put him below Arthur. Dude, Arthur has so much more feats than Walter. And as I said again before, situation tier means he's either in It's Very Unlikely or in Dexter's Dreams. And I would have to, being honest, I would have to put him here. But like above John Doe. But I'll still put him in situational. So yeah, this is my tier list. Is it a W or L? Let me know. And also, I just want to say thank you guys for everything. I just recently got monetized on YouTube. I became a YouTube partner. It's like a big deal for me because I've always wanted to be a YouTube partner. I've always wanted to make money doing the things that I love, and I can't express this enough. Thank you guys for supporting and watching these videos. Even if you disagree with me or even if you agree with me, I still appreciate you guys commenting, liking the video, and even watching. It means the world to me. And I want to encourage all of you guys to chase your dreams, no matter what it is that you want to do, whether you want to be a doctor, a Twitch streamer, YouTuber, a nurse, whatever it is, whatever that you really want your reality to be, whether it's minimalism or not, that's your dream. And I encourage all of you guys to chase it. I feel like that's the purpose of life, to do what you want to do in life to make you truly happy. And I feel like everybody can chase their dreams. It really just takes time, and thank you guys. What is going on, everybody, and welcome back to another tier list video. Now, instead of ranking killers based on their chances of surviving other killers, I was wondering, could I survive these serial killers? Now, I didn't put any real serial killers because that would be kind of messed up. So I kept it all fictional characters except for Jack the Ripper. But I mean, come on, he was basically based in the 1800s. He kind of feels like fiction, to be honest. Now, you guys might be thinking, wait, how would you even do this tier list at all? This wouldn't make any sense. You don't fit Dexter's code, and you're not somebody messing with Joe Goldberg's girl. So I decided, hey, what if I was a killer that Dexter would be hunting down, etc., etc. And I'm going to be ranking these based off of 2 things. 1, I already know everything about them because I've seen their movies and TV shows. This is what if I was actually getting hunted in real life by these people. And 2, they're basically already stalking me. Like for Jigsaw, I would already be in his trap. Could I get out? That kind of stuff. So boom, we're starting it off with a bang. John Kramer, or should I also say John Creamer? Now, honestly, this could go 2 ways. I'd basically either lose a part of me because you literally cannot get out of John's trap without losing a piece of you, or I'd either die. There's no in between. And in my opinion, I think I'd 100% die. I've watched these movies, and to be honest, I wouldn't even want to live. The amount of gruesome stuff that you have to do even to survive, to get out of the traps, is insane. And to be honest, I wouldn't want to live with that insane trauma and guilt. Kind of have to pull a few strings if you want to be the winner out of the group. So no, I would just die. I would basically kind of unalive myself. Young Dexter Morgan from Original Sin. Now I'm spicing it up a little bit. You know, I do have Dexter from the original series on this as well. You know, I have to add Dexter into the mix. But Dexter from Original Sin, could I survive him? He's young, he's not really in his prime, and he makes a lot of mistakes as we've seen in Original Sin. Granted, yes, none of those mistakes get him caught. He's still pretty clumsy. He's getting used to things in Original Sin. And considering that no victim has walked away in Dexter Original Sin, could I walk away? And since I know everything about them already, I feel like it would be possible to get out. Because think about it, it's either I die or I get out. Actually, never mind, I just thought about it. I'd still die because he's still trained in martial arts in this series because, you know, he just graduated college. He might not be the best at martial arts. He's still honing his skills, but I have no combat experience whatsoever. So if I go up against young Dexter Morgan, bro, I'm getting my ass kicked. But since I know everything about him and I know like his moves, his techniques, he'll try to sneak up on me. I'll be really cautious, but I feel like if I ever just see him and I'm alone, I feel like I would just be GG'd. But then on the other hand, if I knew that he was coming at me, I feel like I just wouldn't really want to seclude myself. So this one's kind of hard. But then again, young Dexter Morgan still takes down crazy opponents. I mean, Levi Reed, for example, dude's huge. Kind of reminds me of Lil Chino, but he wasn't really that buff. So yeah, honestly, I'm not gonna lie, I'm cooked. Patrick Bateman from American Psycho. Now, I said this before in a lot of videos. Patrick Bateman really is an unpredictable killer, and he's also very clumsy and really has no skills, to be honest. I mean, granted, I'll give it to him. He knows how to somewhat cover his tracks because when he killed Paul Allen, he still wore I don't know what you would call it, like a plastic protector. So he's not that much of a dum-dum, but really he has no planning in really any of his kills other than that. I mean, he killed a homeless person to dropping a chainsaw on a woman that's naked throughout an apartment complex. Like, what? So if I saw Patrick Bateman walking down the street and I saw his face, he'd probably try to kill me right then and there. He doesn't care at all. So honestly, this one's kind of hard, but I feel like it would be possible to get out. Because then again, he is a pretty high profile person. You know his face. He doesn't really have any skills. He won't sneak up behind you. If I see him in public and I know he's coming after me, I'll carry. Well, then I guess you could say that I could carry for Dexter. And by carry, I mean with a gun. So let's throw the gun out there, actually. Let's say we have no gun. But honestly, I feel like I just have enough confidence to evade Patrick Bateman out of every single person on this list. I mean, let's be real. Ghostface. To be honest, I think I'd lose a part of me. I feel like all these are going to be, I'm going to die. Nah, I would 100% die. Because even if I do, by the grace of God, get away from Ghostface, he'll just come back and kill me again. Because there's always a sequel. So yeah, I'm not evading. How many movies are we at right now? Almost 7? I think 7's in the works. And by the way, just because there's 7 movies doesn't mean that there's 7 people. There's more Ghostface. And I don't even know the exact number for that. So yeah, I cannot handle over a dozen Ghostface. I think I would be cooked, honestly, now that I think about it. Joe Goldberg. Now, I don't really want to underestimate Joe Goldberg because yes, he is intelligent. He's an expert at stalking as well. He does a very good job. But one thing that I feel like that I have over Joe Goldberg is height and strength. I mean, yes, he's beat some formidable opponents, but if we're talking about Hugo the bodyguard in season 4, Joe kind of snuck up on him with a blade, might I add. He's still very experienced and he's more intelligent than me. I can't just put everybody in I die because this whole entire list would just be cooked. Because to be honest, I feel like I would just be cooked in this entire list. I don't know. I would have to put him in I die. I actually have to fix this. I would put Ghostface over Original Sin Dexter. Okay, I don't even have to explain this. Let's just put this at the top. Actually, no, I feel like I would have more of a chance against Dexter than I do in the trap. Like, if you're in the trap, you basically have a 99% death rates. By the grace of God, that 1% that you get lucky and you outwit every single person, not even just outwit, and get lucky against every other person that's competing. With Dexter, you're at least out in the world, out in the open. You have objects that you can use. Hannibal Lecter, honestly, I would even put him over the trap. Yeah, honestly, I'll put him over the trap, honestly. He's basically superhuman. Jack the Ripper. Since Jack Ripper is based in the 1800s, and let's say he was resurrected and put in the 2000s, yes, he would have no idea what any of this is. I could even outmaneuver him with all the technology I have at my disposal. With all the technology, maybe I could pull something off. John Doe from 7. Yes, he did get away with a lot of gruesome killings. He also did kill people with wealth because of greed. He killed people that were important and got away with it. So he knows what he's doing, so I have to give him that. Dude, I can't put everyone in I die. Like, come on. I would just say I'd lose a part of me. But then again, honestly, this one's hard. John Doe is over original sin Dexter. Okay, yeah, hold on. I have to backtrack my statement and everything. Because this is real life, right? Okay, fine. We'll do this. We'll do... Oh my God. Yeah, I don't know. What about that? Oh my God, I forgot to even explain what the tiers are before we even started this video. Oh my God. Well, I mean, I guess they're pretty self-explanatory. But I'd lose a part of me basically means like I'd lose a limb. Kind of like if I won the jigsaw trap. Like I would get out alive. Okay, actually, this makes sense. Yeah, I don't know. This is how I'm keeping it. And we have Holly Jones from Prisoners. Now, this one is also pretty interesting considering that, you know, it's an elderly lady. Honestly, bro, if I'm ever going hand to hand with her, let's be honest. The one thing is, yes, I'll give it to her. She's pretty smart. I mean, everybody on this list is smart. I mean, they're all advanced. Well, not all are advanced serial killers. Actually, I'll give them all advanced because to be a serial killer, you kind of have to be advanced. The only reason Keller lost to her at the end is because she had a gun on him. Because if I really think about it, these two characters mainly catch their victims with the element of surprise. And with all the information I know about them, I feel like I'd also just carry a blade on me because, to be honest, because if we think about it, Joe Goldberg sometimes uses sharp objects to kill his opponents, and Dexter uses M99, so I'm basically playing by the rules here. Since none of them use a gun and they use objects of their own, I can use objects of mine too. Carry a weapon on me, a bayonet maybe, or maybe just move to Antarctica.